today we have Lior Herman from the Hebrew University, who has had a session on the Israeli gas conundrum. Lior, thank you very much for being with us. My first question would be, what is the state, what is the situation of the gas thing in Israel, with all the new discoveries, with all the new regulation that is being put in place? How can you summarize what's going on today regarding natural gas in Israel?
Thank you, Gonzalo. It's a pleasure being here in Lior Herman. And I think that we are now at a stage where the market was in a waiting position. And things have changed. Things have changed, but it took a lot of time. There was a lot of uncertainty, market uncertainty, regulatory uncertainty, a lot of public debate. I don't think it's over, but things can move. Things can move now. We had three major phases. We had a Shishinsky committee that looked at issues related to fiscal policy, taxation, and that is over now. And it's in legislation, and things have changed, but at least there is certainty. Then there was another committee which was set to decide how much gas can be exported and how much gas would be used for local consumption. And that's also mostly dealt with. And then maybe the biggest chapter was the issue of regulatory stability and issues of market competition. Now, I cannot say that market competition would be achieved, but I think that there is enough stability in terms of the firms involved in the markets to start and going into gas contracts and many things which were in the air. They were open. There were several memorandums of understanding with various companies, including Spanish firms. Mm-hmm. But now things can move forward, and the recent development 2 days ago that Israel signed a contract with Jordan. This is a very important development in that sense, and it seems that this can facilitate the exploitation of the Leviathan reservoir. It also gives a very good signal to the market to go ahead and to there is now a tender for new explorations in the area. I think more and more actors would want to go in. I know that the government has been doing roadshows around the world. They went to London, they're going to Houston, they're doing all sorts of trips in order to attract international investors. And I think that the climate now is more ready. There is also a sense that this is not going to change, okay? I mean, a lot of things change, but now the government is not going to reshuffle the cards again. It seems that from the government perspective, the government is very keen on export at a regional level, at also maintaining domestic security for the domestic consumption for a period of some 25, maybe perhaps more years. Nevertheless, this is the Mediterranean, and this is the Middle East. So we bring into the table everything on top of it. So if we look at the various options, if I have to map different prospects, let's start perhaps with the very top, north. Then there is the issue of Turkey. There were discussions about laying a pipeline to Turkey. Israel and Turkey has had a very bitter chapter of relationship in recent years. Things have improved, but I still think that this is it puts a big shadow of uncertainty. It's like a scar in the relationship, and actors would be very cautious in doing that, in laying a pipeline, which also has other implications in terms of where the pipeline actually goes. There is no demarcation of borders, maritime borders. That doesn't mean that Turkey is not very interested in it, and that Turkey consumes today 46 BCM per year. It's growing. They don't have their own energy, and they are interested. Then going a bit, further to the south, we have Cyprus. There are serious discussions with Cyprus in many ways, but the Cypriot Turkish question is open, and it's preventing Cyprus from utilizing its own resources at the moment. So there's a sort of a stale game here. However, we have to remember that the gas reserve that was found in Cyprus is owned by the same firms that owned the gas in Israel. Going a bit further, we have Lebanon. Israel and Lebanon are, I don't see any gas relations taking place, but there is a dispute there over the borders and whether some of the reservoirs are also parts of Lebanon or not. The two countries will have to find a settlement for this, although I don't think that this issue would prevent Leviathan from being exploited. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Then there is a deal we heard recently, the deal with Jordan. This is a very interesting deal. It was a memorandum. It was already decided several years ago, but when the uncertainty unfolded, the Jordanians canceled it. This deal is a better deal for Jordan. They pay $5 billion less for roughly the same things. I still think that there are open issues there that needs to be negotiated. Who will pay for pipelines and adjustment of prices, etc., etc. But it seems as if this is something that's going to go through, and it's a very good news for Jordan, because Jordan is energy scarce and needs this. There is a good possibility here for Gaza as well, but that depends on Israeli-Palestinian relations, which is also Israeli-Palestinian Authority relations, and there is Israeli-Hamas relations, and Gaza is ruled by Hamas. But there have been talks also about this, maybe about the prospects of letting Gaza Marine to be developed, which is the Palestinian gas field. And there is the issue of Egypt. And Egypt is in need of energy, it's in need of gas. At the same time, they found a very important and the most significant gas field in the Mediterranean, the Zohr Reserve. So that reshuffles again the cards. If it was more likely that they will purchase gas, the likelihood now decreases, or at least it gives the Egyptians a much better leverage to negotiate the price. Now, if the gas was supposed to be delivered to either by an existing pipeline in Sinai, or through one of the LNG facilities that is in Egypt, the option is still there, and there is a memorandum of understanding to sell gas from the Tamar field to the LNG facility in Damietta, UFG. I think this is going to happen. It seems to me that this is going to happen. I'm not sure that it's going to happen with the Egyptians. It might be gas that will be liquefied and then sold somewhere else around the world. And this is also good news for Spain. For Spain, yeah. Spain and Italy, yeah, it's good news.
Yeah, because Spain, Natural Gas Fenosa, they got this liquefaction plant in Damietta. They are not getting feedstock from the Egyptian government to export, so they are very much interested in that, and they are quite advanced in negotiations, I believe.
I think that in recent weeks they have negotiated this, and they even, to the best of my knowledge, they have even negotiated going more than they thought initially. So initially they thought about 5 BCM per year, and I think now they're talking about taking the whole capacity of the facility, which is 7 BCM. That will necessitate some adjustments and further costs, but it's a very good deal for UFG, and also it's a good deal because when the LNG plant is not operating, UFG pays fines, and there are excessive costs for not operating this. So I think it's a good thing, and it's also likely to happen.
Thank you very much, Lior, for a very interesting presentation on a fascinating issue. And I hope also that this could lead to an intensification of Spanish-Israeli relations in the energy field. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.